Hello from the United States. Most Americans live in cities, but Americans are also happy that there are places that do not have buildings and highways. They like places where wild animals can live a natural life. They like places where people can see nature and be part of it. People often travel to these places when they have time away from their jobs. We call these times vacations. Like Taiwan, the United States has national parks. I think that Taiwan has 6 national parks, but in the United States we have almost 400 places in our national park system. Some of them are really called national parks. Some are places called national monuments or historic sites. Because there are so many national parks, most Americans do not know about all of them. I would like to tell you about 3 special national parks that everyone in America knows about. The oldest American national park is called Yellowstone National Park. It was created in 1871 to protect wild animals and plants and to give Americans a place to enjoy nature. It is famous because it's the home of bears, wolves, bison, and other large wild animals. Here are some bison in the winter in Yellowstone National Park. We also call these animals buffalo. Thousands of years ago, there were volcanoes where Yellowstone Park is. Hot water still comes out of the ground. Sometimes hot water shoots into the air. This is called a geyser. The most famous geyser in Yellowstone Park is called Old Faithful because it shoots water into the air every 60 to 90 minutes. Thousands of people visit Yellowstone National Park each year. Some of them stay in fancy hotels in the park called lodges. Here is a picture of Old Faithful Inn, which is a lodge near the Old Faithful Geyser. A lodge is like a hotel, but it is built with wood and other natural things. Here's a picture taken inside the Old Faithful Lodge dining room. However, many visitors choose to camp in the park in campgrounds, like you see here. Sometimes they sleep in tents. Sometimes they use special vehicles with beds and kitchens inside them. These vehicles are called recreational vehicles, or RVs. RVs are often expensive and fancy, like the one here. And here are a couple of RVs that are medium size. It seems funny that people would travel to experience the beauty of nature, but still want what we call all the comforts of home. The bears in Yellowstone National Park are famous. They are wild animals, but they are often found near campsites. People who are camping are told to be sure to put their food away where the bears will not smell it. Otherwise, the bears might cause problems, like this. Do you see the bear on the wooden table? Bears also sometimes beg for food, like you see here. Although they are tame, they are still wild animals. Another famous national park is Grand Canyon National Park. It is in Arizona. It contains one of the largest and deepest canyons anywhere. You can see in this picture that because of its size, depth, and its beautiful colored rock, Americans call the Grand Canyon one of the natural wonders of the world. Native American people have lived in and near the canyon for at least 4,000 years. Today, it is a popular place for tourists. There are many walking trails in the canyon like this. People can walk from the top of the canyon all the way down to the river in the bottom of the canyon, which you see here. In some places, the canyon is 1,600 meters deep. That is about a mile deep. It is also a popular sport to float down the river. People float over this rough water in rubber boats called rafts, like you see here. The river in the canyon has 150 places where the water goes over rocks. Some people travel the entire canyon this way, taking 12 days and camping in the canyon every night. Sometimes there are no other people for miles and miles around, and the river is beautiful. Trips like this are exciting, but are also dangerous. People pay money for guides to take them down the river, as much as $3,500 to travel the entire canyon. The last place I would like to tell you about is Mount Rushmore in my own state of South Dakota. Here is a picture taken from the air. It is a national memorial, but it is still part of the national park system. On this mountain, the faces of 4 famous American presidents have been carved. The presidents are George Washington, who was the first American president; Thomas Jefferson, the man who wrote our very important Declaration of Independence; Abraham Lincoln, the president who freed the black slaves; and Theodore Roosevelt, who is often thought to be one of the greatest presidents. Mount Rushmore is sometimes called the Shrine to Democracy, because all of the men honored there played important roles in the freedom of the United States and of individual American people. Around 2 million people visit Mount Rushmore each year. Here you can see the entrance to the memorial. In the distance you can see what is called the Avenue of Flags. It has flags of all of the 50 American states. There are hiking trails near the mountain, but most visitors stay at the Visitor Center. In the Visitor Center, they can learn about the history of Mount Rushmore and the men who carved it. They can buy souvenirs, and they can also buy meals and snacks. Every evening during the summer, after it turns dark, there is a special ceremony in which the mountain is lit by huge lights for the evening visitors, like you see here. Yellowstone National Park, Grand Canyon National Park, and Mount Rushmore National Memorial are special in the minds of Americans. If you visit the United States, you may want to visit these places.